For as long as I can remember, we've seen this in sci-fi movies, right? The universal translator, that little gadget that instantly breaks down any language barrier. Well, it looks like that future isn't so far away anymore. In fact, it might be arriving right inside our ears.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. What if you could just land in Tokyo or Paris or anywhere and have a totally normal, fluid conversation with anyone you meet? No more scrambling for a translation app on your phone, no more awkwardly pointing at a phrase book, just talking.
So, I was reading this fantastic piece from Enzvia, and it seems Apple is really going all in on making this a reality. They've just unveiled a new feature that could completely change how we all connect with each other across the globe.
Let's be honest, for the longest time, earbuds have had one job: pump music, podcasts, and calls into our ears. That's it. But that whole idea is being flipped on its head. Apple is turning them from just accessories into, well, powerful little communication sidekicks. And this right here is the main event. It's called Translation Conversation, and it is the star of the show for the new AirPods Pro 3. The promise is so simple, but absolutely huge. You get a real-time translation of a conversation happening live right in your ear. Okay, so the big question is, how does this magic trick actually work? Let's get into it, because the way Apple has designed this whole process is meant to feel incredibly simple, almost invisible, when you're using it. And what I love about this is just how effortless it sounds. It's like this seamless little dance. First, your AirPods microphones capture what the other person is saying in their language. Then, bam, Apple Intelligence, that's their new AI powerhouse, translates it basically on the spot. And finally, you just hear the translated version whispered right into your ear. It's wild. CNET absolutely nailed it with this quote. This isn't about holding your phone up like a weird barrier between you and the person you're talking to. The whole point is to make the tech just fade into the background, so it feels like you're just having a natural face-to-face conversation. And get this, this isn't some tiny little beta test with 2 or 3 languages. Nope. Apple is rolling this out with support for dozens of the world's most common languages right from the get-go. So day one, this thing is actually useful for millions of people all over the planet. So the tech is obviously super impressive. But here's the real question, right? Where does this actually make a difference? What does this change for you and me in the real world? Well, for starters, if you travel at all, this is a total game changer. Seriously. Imagine you're in Paris, like that Enzvia article mentioned. You can walk into a little shop and order something with total confidence. You can ask for directions without doing that whole point and gesture dance. You could actually have a real conversation with someone. It's all about making those experiences more human and way less stressful. And this isn't just for vacation. Think about global business. Suddenly, companies can have meetings with international partners without the expense or the awkward delay of a live interpreter. Sales teams can build better rapport. It just removes this massive piece of friction that has always existed in international business. But the impact goes even deeper. Think about a student learning a new language who can get instant feedback. Or, and this is a big one, a doctor who can finally communicate clearly with a patient. These are things that can literally change lives. Now look, translation in earbuds isn't a totally new concept. Google and Samsung have dabbled in the space. So what makes Apple's version the one that might actually stick? The one that's going to make people say, I need to buy these AirPods. And right here, this is the secret sauce. It's all running on Apple Intelligence, and they are hammering the privacy angle. A lot of the processing happens right on your device, instead of being sent up to some random server in the cloud. And in today's world, that's a massive selling point. And that focus on experience really highlights the difference in this earbud battle. With competitors, it often feels a bit clunky, like you're using an app on your phone that's connected to your earbuds. With Apple, it's all about that deep integration. It's designed to be seamless. This is why Apple wins so often. They don't just build a feature, they build an experience. I heard someone who tried it say, it doesn't feel like a feature, it feels like a superpower. And that's it, right there. When tech becomes that invisible, that intuitive, it stops being a tool you use and starts feeling like an extension of you. That's what gets people to open their wallets. Okay, let's be real for a moment. It's not perfect, yet. Early reports say there can be a tiny pause while the AI is thinking, and it's probably not going to understand really complex slang or idioms right off the bat. But for most normal, everyday conversations, it sounds like it's shockingly good. When you step back and look at this, it's clear that AirPods aren't just for music anymore. They're evolving. They're becoming these wearable AI companions that are designed to help you interact with the world in a whole new way. This is how Apple could really cement its lead in the high-end market. Think about it. A few years ago, active noise cancellation went from a nice bonus to a must-have feature. I think you have to ask, is real-time translation about to become the new standard that everyone else has to scramble to catch up with?
So to wrap this all up, I'm going to go back to that Enzvia article because this quote just says it all. This isn't just a cool tech demo. It really is a huge leap toward making our world feel just a little bit smaller and a little more connected. It's an amazing development, one of those things that really makes you feel like the future is finally here. And it just gets you thinking, okay, if we're on the verge of cracking the language barrier, what's next? What's the next massive human challenge that technology is going to help us tear down?